Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a comedy movie review, and today we have a look at the movie NOOBZ. So NOOBZ is a story of three sort of Gears of War sort of professional players who want to take part in a sort of tournament. They actually meet up with a fourth player who they haven't actually met in real life. It's one they play online. And they go to a tournament that's being held in Los Angeles, where they sort of face off against various other players. This is very much like the best way I can describe it is like a gamer version of like Road Trip or American Pie, or at least that's what it wants to be. So the problem with this film, it seems to me like a lot of it is improvised. Now, I went into this film, I thought this sounds quite good. I'm actually quite a big Gears of War fan, so this film is really. There's a lot of Gears of War references and kind of, that's what it seems to be. Really, the only game that they really mention is Gears of War. You've also got a subplot about this this kind of 80s sort of Frogger champion who's kind of wants to sort of reclaim his sort of past glories, and he's worked into the plot as well. So I'm not going to talk too much about the plot with this film because it's pretty much meant to be one of these sort of like underdog stories. All of the four principal characters have all got their problem. One of them, his sort of wife's just left him and he's lost his job. The other one's kind of in love with a girl that he's never sort of actually sort of dated in real life. He's only sort of knows her online, and he's a bit of a slacker. There's one guy who's kind of got this. He's kind of, we don't know if he's sort of coming out the closet, and is he sort of. We're led to believe he may or may not be gay. Then sort of the fourth one, who's the sort of one they pick up, he's got like some sort of severe asthma. He's got to carry this air tank around, and his sort of mum is shacked up with Casper Van Dien. So these are our sort of four principal characters, and the main guy Cody, who's really the sort of who the story sort of focuses on, is pretty much an unlikable character. I have to say, he spends most of the film being fairly negative and moaning, so he's not a particularly fun character to watch. Jason Mewes' character is probably the sort of the second lead, and he's maybe a little bit more fun, but he's very much playing a similar role to his sort of Jay and Silent Bob character. The problem for me with this film is it just simply wasn't very funny. So I thought, I like the sort of the American Pie films as a sort of a concept, and I'm a bit of, I'm a gamer and a geek, so I thought, well, you meld those two sort of universes, and you've got like a kind of one of these sort of like sort of comedies that it's going to be for gamers, but it just simply never hits its mark. The jokes linger so badly. They spend far too long lingering on these sort of jokes, and if they were maybe shot a little bit differently, a little bit edited, they may be a little bit more funny. But unfortunately, sometimes I think Family Guy do this, is they kind of have these sort of jokes and just linger on it a little bit too long. And whilst it would have been funny because, okay, well, I'm finished with this now, I kind of want to move on to the next scene or what have you. And this is very much like that. But it does it, pretty much every joke. It just spends far too much time sort of with a punchline. It just becomes unfunny. And because I think a lot of the lines seem improvised to me, it just needs, the script wasn't all of that. It follows you kind of very much your sort of typical coming of age sort of tropes. They go to a strip bar and all of that, and the actual, and then when you come to the actual sort of Gears of War tournament, that should be quite an exciting sort of match, almost like your sort of your sort of Rocky crescendo type, final fights. But it just isn't. The matches are pretty boring. They don't build up any sort of tension. The sort of rivalries between the other clans just seems sort of like too cartoonish to me. And I was massively disappointed with this film. Unfortunately, it just wasn't a funny film. From gaming culture as well, I don't think that they kind of fall into these very sort of stereotypical cliche roles. There's a lot of racial stereotypes and things like that as well. I don't think it's a particularly good representation of the majority of sort of gamers either. I worked in the gaming industry for 11 years, so I've got a kind of good idea of what it's actually like. So, to be honest with you, the main problem with this, it just isn't funny. For a comedy, it just isn't funny. So, I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? Let me know what you think and leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time. See you later.